Hello, my lovely listeners. In this first episode of this year, 2025, Happy New Year. I had some blockers. One of them was that I was really going through a bad cold, and it just came across Christmas and New Year's, and I was really not well, and I didn't have any energy to do any episodes, and I was really or record any episodes, and I was really thinking, I really put everything and trying to make sure that I do all of the tasks that I wanted to do during this period of Christmas and New Year's, because I was hoping I have this time off and I will be free. And as with some plans, it didn't happen. I really was quite unwell and couldn't record anything and really didn't have energy. So it's been some time and I was kind of putting it off and off, as I was in some sort of maybe like an oblivion state of just disconnected to my of from my daily tasks and from the things that I do on a weekly basis, which one of those is this podcast. And I follow other podcasters and always try to get inspiration of how they go and record it. And as you know, I don't make any notes or I don't follow any specific plan when recording this. And I have maybe some issues with planning. I prefer to go with the flow. I feel like doing something because you are inspired and because you have a really rich inner life. So there is always something that is in you that can be talked about. So on any subject of this, like spirituality and yourself, you can talk about because you sit with yourself and you know yourself best. So to say something about this, you don't need specific preparation because you are being prepared every day and you think about those things, right? You don't always think about the Lulu and what you're gonna eat for dinner, but you actually think about yourself. This is where awareness is coming from, and this is how then you're able to talk about your feelings, about your emotions, about what you're going through. And also when you go through a situation, you kind of either you feel it or you explain it to yourself, or you see if there were any triggers in this situation, and that's how you can talk about this situation. This is how it is for me. I don't know exactly how other people are. I obviously, when I talk to them, I try to find out, but it's not always actually very easy, and I don't think I am kind of understood. So I can only tell what I observe, and I can see in a lot of with a lot of speakers that I observe, they don't necessarily have any notes of how or plan exactly how they're gonna talk about something. So I don't, and I always rely on my inspiration. I always rely on the fact that when I sit down and I press recording, very simple, just on my phone, the words are just going to come out. I am preparing for some stuff at work, and I actually have to do a lot of preparation for this. And because it's talking, I was hoping I can approach it with the same sort of lack of planning, but I don't think that's the case with the kind of corporate working. So I am trying to do more planning on this specific thing, and I am thinking, how would this podcast be better if I actually do planning for the podcast? Maybe some bullet points, maybe rehearse it before I say things here. But no, then it's just not fun. Then it's just not free flow. So this is not what I want this podcast to be about. And I think I also have been quite hard on myself because I judgmental, that this podcast is not that. It's not it's sometimes quite incoherent. Sometimes I feel like it's blabbing about and it doesn't have kind of good content because it's not planned. But I know it's a good content, and I always say to myself, I need to be kind to myself, and whoever finds it, that means that they are supposed to find it, and hopefully it feels natural and it feels authentic, and it doesn't have to be like scholarship kind of talk that everything has got bullet points and it's very structured, and it just feels differently, and you can just listen to it very kind of lightly, but at the same time it can have some points that maybe stir something in you, or maybe plant something in you, or maybe lead you to some sort of solutions, or things that you can find out about yourself, or help you think about things differently. So it's different to the stuff that we have to say in the corporate world that have specific phrases. So I was chatting to ChatGPT, and I was like, tell me phrases that I can use in the specific situation that I have to that would be good for solution, so solving a problem or communication, and it comes up. And also it's obviously important for me because English is my second language, so they maybe don't come to me naturally, specifically not when I am being asked. I know them, I am aware of them, I use them, but when I am being asked on the spot about a specific phrase, then I am sometimes totally lost. And it's even sometimes worse when I am rehearsing something and I just forget a middle word or something, or the beginning, and then it's really worse than when I am not rehearsing and I am talking to someone at work, just like I am talking to you. So when I am in the flow, everything is fine. When I'm trying to remember a phrase or a word, I really stop on that and I cannot move forward. So that's the issue. So one of the things that I was thinking to talk to you about today was exactly about that, about action. So things that you haven't done, things that I haven't done, I regret them more that the things I have done. So when when I was thinking today, oh, I really kind of don't have energy or don't feel like doing this podcast, and all of the critical parts of me was telling me exactly what I just told you about why I'm not good and so on and so forth. And then I remembered when I was thinking recently about what I regret in my life. And a couple of things came in, and a lot of those things, most of those things really, the sentence started with, I regret that I didn't go. I regret that I didn't do more. I regret that I didn't try. So all of those things is about not doing, not taking action. And I was also thinking, why didn't I do those things? And the reason was also always fear, which was, I didn't think I was good enough to do this. I didn't think I had enough in me to do that. I didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough energy. I was already doing this and that, and I also had to have time for just fun, I guess. So obviously I don't remember, I remember I had fun, and it's very important in my life to also have rest, sleep, nice time, just leisure. This is very important. But I also see how life and where I am is built on action, some big action and some small action. And how action meaning things that you decide to do, things that you decide to pursue, things that you decide to build, or things that you decide to change. So it's not always, I don't want to make it about work or hard work, because I have tendency to also go into that and criticize myself that I didn't work hard enough. This is some of the, I guess, traumas as well, or something from the parents, that is the hard work archetype is kind of very innate in me. And the hard work, the work that kind of tires you down, the work that is dreading, the work that it's not fun, the work that it's making you feel very tired. You don't have passion for this work. So this type of work, and this is the good work. So when you work hard enough and you really drag through this and for hours on no end, this is the work that matters, right? And once you do this work, then you feel like you're accomplished, you really did the work. So work that flows, that is fun, that you kind of look at the time and you are like, oh my God, it's been whatever, so many hours or the whole day. That's very often not regarded maybe as work. That's kind of like pleasure. Obviously there is sometimes when you are at work, when I am at work, when I'm really involved in something, on advising solution, or really kind of digging even into admin, and then you look at the watch and it's like 4 hours past, which to be honest does not happen to me with the current work that much, but sometimes. Or if there is a really interesting meeting, right, and the solutions are flying, the conversation is really inspiring, and then the time flies. This is time spent at work, but maybe you've learned something, maybe you get some inspiration, for me, I love when someone is, like an inspiring speaker, or I can see someone is really passionate, and I really like the way they are talking about something, or how they found the solution, or how they are working, or how they came up with this data even, and what this data means in a very interesting way. And this is inspiring, and this obviously can be work as well. So there are many types, but I feel that the one regarded the most is the one really kind of tiring and plowing, and the one that sucks the life out of you almost, this kind of type of work. So yeah, I'm not the fan of this work, and I want the work that really inspires me, that kind of gets me going, and I forget time, and this is when you are in the kind of flow, and I guess it does not happen very often. It does happen, but it's even good if it kind of is the flow, and then maybe a little bit of admin just to break it up, and then the flow again. And I guess a lot of people are in this state. The other thing is that when I was really trying to think and manifest of how I would like my life to look like, there was a lot of rest. There was a lot of meeting with friends and walking and spending time cooking and eating and just having this enjoyable time. And now when I'm talking to you and talking about work, I'm thinking how much of this life work would take, and what part, or what when I would be like, oh, I actually kind of miss work, and what I would do to have this work in my life. And this podcast, for example, or talking to people, or advising, or finding solutions, or maybe interviewing, I would love to be a big part of of my life, of the work, but the work that brings happiness and that brings fulfillment and that innate passion in me as well. Would that be a hard work? Would there be a lot of admin? I don't know, probably. I haven't really been that involved in the podcasting for so much to see. Would there have to be other people or studios? I don't have any of those at the moment. It's very simple and it's very basic, and this is what, but I would like for this to extend. So we'll see. This was just the words of manifesting for me. I'm really curious what your manifesting is, and I really encourage you to say it out loud as well, and to bring this spell and this magic. And another word for me, obviously, is that the energy that the passion and the flow brings is the abundance for you to be able to do that. The sharing and exchanging of the energy is also the exchanging and sharing of abundance, and the ease and the flow with which this abundance comes to me, to you. So this is again for me this manifestation of the abundance, the flow of energy takes away any worries of this kind of, do I have enough? Would there be enough? So this worry is kind of flows out and never comes back. And the happiness of also extending and sharing my abundance, which I do at the moment with sharing the ideas and sharing my feelings and emotions with you, and with the hope of that this helps anyone. On the subject of energy and the flow, I've been with some friends, and one of the friends of friends, she is doing a Marma training, and Marma is very interesting. I've never heard of this before. She's doing this training, and it's basically about unlocking the energies and the channels in your body, and mainly she was doing this with the head, so touching different points on your head, which are obviously connected to the chakra points, energy points in Chinese medicine. I don't know the exact names of them, but obviously they're located on top of your head, behind your ears, third eye, in front of your ears, on your ears, at your back of your neck. So all those points. And what this lady was doing, she was basically very lightly kind of touching, but almost not touching those, and moving hands around your head. And she proposed in our group of friends that she will do this for us, because she has to practice. So one of the people there went with her first. It was very kind of quick, 10-15 minutes session, and he went, and then he totally completely fell asleep. She came down, and she was like, he's completely sleeping and snoring there upstairs. So obviously very relaxing session for him. And then she went ahead and did it for another friend in another room, because the main bed that she was doing it on was taken, but this person who fell asleep happily. So she did it for another person, and then after 15 minutes this person came back and said, oh my god, that was so refreshing, so relaxing. I felt as if I was like floating above the bed, and it felt so nice. So listening to those people, to the friends of mine, I was like, oh, let me do it again, something. And I'm so glad that something told me to do it, because there was other people, and I was thinking, oh, I don't really know this person very well, there's lots of people, I don't want to like impose myself on them, and the other kind of things that told me, oh, don't do it, it's not necessary, like it's just 15 minutes, I have so much energy work done. And I was also kind of recovering from this cold, so I was like, but something told me to do it, and I did go upstairs. There was like a big bed, and I lied down, and her hands were felt really hot, like coals from the fire almost, and she was hovering her hands around my head, touching very lightly those points, and I felt anger. I felt such an anger. First, I thought I am angry with this lady. I just met this lady the other day, so I didn't even know her for a long time. So I thought this is anger kind of channeled toward this lady for whatever reason. I don't really even remember what the reason was. I was just angry that she was doing this. I was just angry that I don't feel relaxed. I was angry. I was so angry that at some point I thought I was going to go downstairs and like really almost swear at this group of people. The anger was just coming out and out of me, and I really wanted to punch the wall, and I really wanted to say some nasty things to this lady. I didn't know what was happening almost. I mean, one part of me felt this anger, and the other part was looking at this part that was feeling this anger and was trying to establish, oh my God, what's happening, while still feeling this anger. So I knew, I was aware that something is happening, but and it's kind of happening in me, within me, but there's no need to act on anything. But obviously I was so focused on the fact that I was supposed to feel really relaxed, and that was supposed to be really nice experience, and I was supposed to levitate above the bed. So why the heck is not happening? So once it was done, I took a couple of minutes. I was trying to let this anger go, because I was really, at some point, I was afraid I was going to say something really not nice to whoever come to me first. So when this lovely lady then asked me when I came out of the bed, how was it for you? I explained to her about the anger, and she was really, well, I say maybe happy or surprised. Well, maybe not surprised, but probably happy. And she obviously said, that's amazing. That means that the anger was blocked in you, that the anger had to come out, that the energy fields or areas were really blocked, and it's like popping up the cork for this to come out. For some reason it didn't. So what happened next is, for the next couple of days, I felt really good. I felt really relaxed. I did feel like the anger, like almost like popping something on your face when you have a pimple, I guess. Although it's much bigger, but definitely releasing this. So it was really good experience. I guess I recommend it. I'm thinking about maybe having it again, come to this with a little bit more understanding, but also obviously gave me more understanding in myself of how I don't express some things and suppress some things, and I kind of knew where this anger came from. I don't need to kind of say it now, but it came from something very simple, from something that someone said to me from my family, and I thought that I ignored it. I thought that I just let it go. I didn't say anything back, or I didn't react, because I knew that is no point, and I didn't really want to get involved. But turned out that this anger didn't disappear, but just sat in me, and thankfully was released by this lovely lady. So that was my talk to you about for the new year, and happy manifesting. I know that there's a couple of astrological things, big things happening. Tomorrow is a full moon in Europe, And then also the north and south nodes are changing. So if you want to explore more that, there's so much content about this on various social medias. It's quite interesting. Doesn't happen very often, and I believe that things in us might be changing due to that. I felt very a bit of stagnant energy, a bit of anxiety. I know that a lot of people might feel anxiety with things that are happening and speeding up, and things in the world happening now. And I really, I was really kind of living and going with this anxiety a lot. And the fact that I didn't sleep that well, I don't know how your sleep is, doesn't help. Sleep is really super important. I know that small things are bringing this anxiety a lot to me, as if I was chased by the saber-tooth tiger. How a lot of psychologists like to explain what the anxiety might be, that we are really nervous about or anxious about small things in our lives that are not life-threatening, but we very much, the imminent things obviously, but we very much treat them as life-threatening. And I do have to repeat to myself that these are not important thing in the great scales of things. But obviously sometimes the logical part is not talking to the emotional part. The emotional part sometimes works separately, and even when we sleep, and even when we think, we don't think about those things that are can be driven by anxiety. They are still somewhere at the back of our mind. So for me, definitely this thing at work that I have to prepare for was quite at the back of my mind, and other things happening in the world really anxious, plus the depleted energy from my body going through the cold. But this is getting better, and I encourage you to really try and find other tools for acknowledging and being aware of this anxiety, but also kind of not letting it swipe you completely. Anxiety is a part of humanity, and I'm not even ever saying that this is going to be gone from our lives forever and never ever disappear. But happiness is also a part of our lives, and lack of anxiety in times when there is no anxiety is also part of our lives. So yes, so hopefully this podcast is helping you to find more about yourself, and to recognize that the anxiety is not you, and how to release yourself from the anger, and how to take action when needed. I speak to you very soon. Bye bye.